This is the Digital Marketing Experts Podcast episode. No, why am I trying to sound like a radio announcer? Experts in the Wire, episode 23. Jared Falk. Hey everyone out there on the wire, welcome to episode 23 of Experts on the Wire. Today my guest is Jared Falk. Jared is one of the owners of Drumeo.com. Drumeo is an online community for drummers that provides educational resources. They have a lot of free information as well as a paid subscription. That's their primary business model. I want to talk to Jared because I've noticed as a fellow drumming and music enthusiast myself that over the last 3-4 years, they have grown Drumeo to a community of almost 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. They are able to attract drum instructors that have drummed for people like Aretha Franklin, Prince, Jay-Z, and a lot more. And Jared's also going to tell us a little bit about some of the early days of Drumeo and so some domaining that he practiced, as well as how SEO and keyword research has helped Drumeo and how they have an average view rate of over 5 minutes across all their YouTube videos, which is very high. So we're just going to jump right into today's interview with Jared Falk of Drumeo. Hey everyone, I have Jared Falk on the wire with me today. Jared, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, likewise. I'm very excited to kind of introduce you to the marketing community that listens to this show, because you've done some really amazing things with Drumeo as I've kind of followed you throughout the years. So what I want to first do is kind of step back a little and take a minute just to set up kind of like where you came from. So obviously you're a drummer, right? But did you go to school for music, or were you more like, did you study business or marketing, or give me a little bit about your background?
In 1999, actually before that, I think I was 97 or whatever, I got into the internet just by wheeling and dealing hockey cards in news groups. Way back in the day, like there's no like pictures or videos online yet, so you just went to like a message board and chatted with people. And I traded hockey cards, and I always waited until like the little flag on the mailbox was up so I could run out and get my new hockey cards, which is a very Canadian thing to do.
Yes.
And then in 1999, I bought a book called 101 eBay Secrets. And that's kind of what really got me intrigued with learning how to sell stuff online. And then from there, I was obviously playing a lot of drums, and drumming still is a passion of mine. And I always wanted to tour. So I went on tour for 4 months with a guy named Riley Armstrong, which was a lot of fun. Just was not really good on the road. I'm really someone who likes to be at home and be close to my family all the time. And so ended up teaching privately, and then met who ended up being my business partner, a guy named Rick Kettner, who's very, very smart and knowledgeable on the tech side of things, even more so than I was in the past, like far more than I was. He was actually dropped out of high school when he was 15 and went to work for a tech company in Texas. And since then, like, he's never gone back to school. He's just always been successful. Oh, wow. And we're no longer partners, but he's doing his own thing in the guitar space, and they're doing a lot of really cool things. And so, so that's kind of how it all started and how I originally met my business partner. But there was no traditional schooling, I would say. You know, I've been doing it online lessons since 2002, and there's just a lot of learning through trial and error. We made a ton of mistakes. I think I made way more mistakes than I did things right, which is maybe why it's taken longer. But the business hasn't ever crashed fully, so I think we're still alive, which is great. So
that's awesome. And I'm going to link to a really cool video that you just tweeted earlier that shows actually one of the first videos that you ever made teaching drums. Yeah. And we'll link to that in the show notes so everyone can find that, evolvingseo.com/wire. What I want to do now is I love the background. I mean, just the kind of the trading hockey cards, the doing it by yourself, the teaching yourself. That's the background I come from, and I think a lot of listeners too. So when did Drumeo when was Drumeo born? I guess the name. Let's start there. Where's that name come from, and when did Drumeo officially begin?
Around 2011, I think November 2011 was when the site first went up. We were called Railroad Media, and then which was kind of like an incorporation name, and it's a play on words because we train people. It's the most cheesiest name ever, and so right, we don't ever want to be known as Railroad Media, but it's like our incorporation name. And so then we were known as freedrumlessons.com, and that was kind of like a big community website that we launched with a whole bunch of free lessons right when YouTube actually launched. And that's a big reason for a lot of our success, and the reason a lot of people know who I am in the drum community and a lot of the other teachers that we've had on. But then it got to the point where like, okay, freedrumlessons.com isn't a great place to sell stuff, hence the name. Like it's just people don't go there looking to buy stuff. And so we obviously needed to make money in order to stay in business. And so we wanted to choose a name that kind of was a little bit catchy and represented our brand more. Mm-hmm. And so we did a kind of a poll in the office, and it got everyone to submit a bunch of ideas. And one of them was Drumeo, and it was actually Drumeo with an I-O, and it was Drum Instruction Online. Uh-huh. And then we contacted the person who owned that name, and they wanted like $50,000 for it.
Oh, goodness.
So we said, nope. And we just went and bought the one with EO, and it was only $9 through GoDaddy, which was great.
I like it. I think it looks better than if it had an I. Like,
I
just
think so too.
Visually, it kind of looks better.
Yeah. So it worked out for the better. And so 2011 is when it kind of started, and that's when it just was a place to host all of our DVD packages that we were selling.
Got it. So give us a quick background on what Drumeo does. Like, I know you provide, obviously I've seen all the YouTube channels, but what are the things that you monetize off of? What do you sell?
Basically, Drumeo is more of a service-oriented product. And so if someone signs up, it's $30 a month or $200 a year, and it's a subscription. And if you sign up, you basically get a new lesson every day. So every day we have a live streaming system where our instructors, either remotely or in our studio, will broadcast a lesson, a 1-hour drum lesson on a specific topic. And we'll broadcast that into our members area. Students can watch live, and they can ask questions and stuff like that. And then around 24 hours after that, that lesson is posted inside of the members area forever. So they can watch it at any time on demand. So if you're not there live, you can still watch it. And that's what it is in its most simplistic form, is one new drum lesson every single day. Now, there's obviously lots of other elements to the website, which we don't need to get into like the specifics of it. But
you started selling some products, right? I think I saw a drum pad. And getting into that stuff too. Yeah, that's things that a lot of our students use. And so if I see a product like the drum pad, it's designed by a guy named Pat Petrillo, and it's a really unique item. And it wasn't selling well in stores because it really needed a demonstration. And so we did a bunch of videos on it. We put together a whole sales page, and to really kind of highlight what the benefits are of using this pad, because it really is a better mousetrap, right? It is a better practice pad. Yes.
And for those that don't know, a practice pad is just something for drummers to practice on wherever you are in a hotel, or you can practice late at night because it's really quiet. And so, that did really well. It kind of exceeded all of our expectations, and we can't keep them in stock. So we seem to always be sold out of them.
Wow, that's awesome. So if I could just, like you said, summarize in a nutshell, the main goal of Drumeo is to get people to sign up for that subscription. Yeah, that's the main goal for us when it comes to like the business side of things. Is we want them to sign up to Drumeo and be part of our community. Yeah. So is YouTube one of the main drivers of that? The main acquisition channels and traffic drivers to make that happen? Yes. It is one of the big ones. And that's why you see a lot of our really popular videos with all the different artists that we have out. Awesome. And I want to talk about YouTube, but actually I wanted to mention, I saw in the video, you were involved in some early domaining. Can you tell the listeners about that? I think they would find this pretty interesting. Well, because from an SEO perspective, we really went hard on SEO when Google did the big pay-per-click change. Our whole business was built on pay-per-click advertising, and then overnight they changed the quality. They added the quality score thing. So all of our websites were not a good enough quality, and so they just shut off all of our ads.
So we're like, okay, now what do we do? And so we started researching SEO, and then we really got into that. And we found that when it comes to like the how-to space or the education space, people are really searching for information, like how to play drums, how to play a rock beat, or drum lessons. And so the easiest way for us to rank for those terms was to just have a keyword-rich domain name and put on quality content that exactly what people are looking for.
And about what year was this about?
Oh man, that was probably like 2006.
Okay, so this is, I just want to give context for some people listening. This is not something you could do now. This is an old tactic.
It is, yeah. You know, it's still like, we have pianolessons.com, we have drumlessons.com and all those things. And now SEO, as you know, is going way more localized. And when you search for lessons, Google's figuring out where you are. If you're in San Diego, they're going to display the San Diego results because those are likely most relevant. And so now it's something you have to buy ads for more so, but it's still a good way to rank for it. It's just not as easy as it used to be. Like you used to be able to put up whatever content, and they put so much weight to the domain name that you can rank for anything.
So what were some of the drum domains that you named in that video that you own?
Like howtoplaydrums.com, learntoplaydrums.com, drummerlessons.com, drumminglessons.com, drumlessons.net.
Wow. So you really got into that early, because I mean, those are like what we call EMDs, exact match domains, that everyone tries to get now. I mean, they're really hard to get a hold of. Yeah,
exactly. And you know, we didn't get them all from GoDaddy. We actually paid a lot of money. Like I think I bought keyboardlessons.com. I paid $3,000 for it.
Oh, wow.
And at pianolessons.com, I paid like over $15,000 for.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of keyword rich, higher end domains that I had to actually hunt down the owners and then do a private deal with them.
Awesome. That's so funny. It's really funny for me to, because it's been recent that I've started mashing together in the music world and my SEO marketing world, because I kind of lived in one and gigged as a musician for many years and then completely stopped and then jumped over. And it's really funny and interesting for me to hear you as a drummer and running a drum site talking about SEO and just the two worlds kind of like colliding together. So that's really cool. So I want to jump to YouTube now, because this is a huge driver of traffic and then subscriptions for you. And I just checked your YouTube channel today, and you're getting pretty close to 500,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is
what is it at? Do you know?
It's like 4,000 and
400,000 and some.
Yeah, 456,266. So if any of the listeners out there are into drumming or music, I tell you, you should subscribe, even if you're not going to buy the paid subscription and you're just a music fan. I mean, you have videos of drummers that have drummed with, their drummers are either pretty famous themselves or they've drummed for very famous musicians or bands. Can you give us like a quick list of maybe some of the most notable drummers that you've had?
Yeah, so we had a guy named Bernard Purdia who played with Aretha Franklin, and he's actually known as one of the most recorded drummers in the world. So he played with like Celine Dion, Aretha Franklin, B.B. King, you know, many other amazing guys. Tony Royster Jr. played with Jay-Z. Actually still plays with Jay-Z. Ben Caesar plays with Brad Paisley. Peter Erskine played with Weather Report. Sonny Emery did things with Bette Midler and Bruce Hornsby. Jim Riley plays with Rascal Flatts. John Blackwell played with Prince and Justin Timberlake. And so lots.
Yeah, the list goes on. And Tony Royster is probably one of my favorite drummers, like hands down. Yeah. The guy's incredible. But so what I want to jump into with this channel is take us to the beginning of this YouTube channel. I know you said you made a lot more mistakes than did things right, but what are some things that you think you did right in the early days to get the initial traction to get subscribers onto Drumeo?
Yeah. The first thing we did on YouTube, and I don't know if it was a fluke, because like I said, my business partner was involved too, and he's a very, very smart guy. But we just decided we're going to create a massive free resource with no advertising, just 100% value-based resource, and not asking for anything back in return, not even expecting anything back in return, just seeing what happened. And so when it comes to the drum market, we were one of the first to really kind of create this all-encompassing resource. I think it was 150 to 200 videos. And we just put those up on YouTube. And we put them up on YouTube and Howcast, which I don't even know if Howcast is still going. But we embedded the Howcast videos onto our website because we liked their player more. It allowed us to do chapter markers and stuff. And then we kind of just left the YouTube videos up. And the YouTube videos all started getting way more views, and they weren't even on our website. So eventually we switched that and embedded all the YouTube videos on the website. And so that's like the best thing we did to kind of get that channel going. And uploading, like, I think we uploaded like 5 to 10 lessons a day back then, which there was a lot less noise in the marketplace. Like now there's so many people uploading videos on YouTube. It's hard to cut through.
Yeah. So what do you, other than being one of the first to market with that, do you think there was anything special that you did with those videos, either technically or maybe more from a content standpoint? Did you have guest instructors at that time, or was there anything you were doing to maybe rank in YouTube or get that traction?
Well, it was basically doing keyword research. So we found out what people were searching for and going a little bit longer tail as well. So if like someone wanted to learn drum theory, we how to learn drum theory, and we would go a lot deeper. So like a whole course on rock drum beats, and, a bunch of different lessons there, and really just creating titles for lessons and building the entire website to be something really keyword rich that would do well for SEO.
Wow.
All based on what people are searching for.
That's so funny because when I contacted you, I had no idea you were going to be talking about SEO. Like I didn't know what your background was with Drumeo. Right. All I know is I saw a vibrant community and I wanted to bring to the listeners, how did you do that? And it's funny to me that you're referencing SEO as one of the leading drivers of that. So you get some early traction. And one thing I've noticed with Drumeo is there's a lot of kind of discussion and commenting and just like you said, a community that's happening. Was there anything that you did proactively to encourage that or to get in the comments and interact and to kind of like grow that interaction?
Well, the YouTube thing, we tried to respond to as many comments as possible. Obviously, you can't get to all of them. It's a full-time job. So one thing on the website we did is we had a drum forum where to get that going, we actually did a lot of posting ourselves and really just trying to get that snowball going. Mm-hmm. And so once that gets going, it gives people another reason to come back to the website. And the longer they stay on the website, obviously, the better Google ranks your website because they know that people really, really like it, right? So if Google likes your website, then they're going to rank your website. It's as simple as that. And so that's one thing we did on the social side to really kind of build the community. Is our forum it's not up anymore because we do it all inside of Drumeo now, but it was a very, very good forum and extremely active for the amount of members we had.
So I want to shift to how you get your guests, because I think some of the listeners might be doing like an interview show or trying to find people to provide them guest content. So how do you how do you get such top name drummers like Tony Royster and Bernard Purdy onto Drumeo? Do you just reach out to them cold? Did you have to build such a following that they can't say no type of thing? How do you do that?
You start just by asking them. And then a lot of people say no. For a lot of years, they just said no, or they didn't get back to you. And I think it all comes down to having something valuable for them. Artists are obviously, they're very, very busy. They're always on the road. They're always grinding. Like to be a drummer, it's hard. You got to play live shows. You got to play recordings. You got to teach in your own private studio. Like you got to do so many different things just to make a living. And so when it comes to us asking for some of their time, which is very valuable, we needed to display that we could actually provide something in value in return. And so part of that was the exposure on the YouTube channel, as well as a fee that was competitive in the marketplace. And so we pay artists a good fee for them coming out. We pay out for all their flights, hotel, and food. It's only 3 to 4 days of time. And when the lessons go out, we heavily promote them on our YouTube channel, and we always clip them up and then promote them on Instagram, Facebook, and all the different social platforms. Because the more exposure we give them, the more sales they're going to make, and the more value they're going to get from it. And so if you provide someone with a lot of value, they'll spread the word for you. And so now it's got to the point where we do still put out a lot of artist requests for artists, but we get a lot of artists requesting to come on as well. And a lot of it's through referrals.
That's awesome. So it's actually kind of turned in the other direction, where now you've built up kind of a known name in the industry that people come to you.
Yeah, I heard someone say, like Jim Riley from plays with Rascal Flatts, I was talking to him, and he said, coming on Drumeo is like going on the Jimmy Fallon show when an artist has something to release. Not saying I'm Jimmy Fallon, because I'm not nearly that funny, but if he has a new book, like Jim's coming out in June, he's got a new book that he wants to release. It in no way will benefit me to promote the book necessarily. But having Jim on Drumeo and having Drumeo associated with Jim, who's this incredible drummer, educator, is really good for our brand. And him coming out is really good to sell copies of his book, because we're going to promote it. And so it's one of those things, it's like both of our backs are equally getting scratched. And so it makes it really, really simple.
Yeah, totally. There's a mutual benefit. So you mentioned having made some mistakes early on. Are there any YouTube specific mistakes that you recall making? And I don't want to put you on the spot, but if there's any that come to mind, I'd love to share those with the audience.
I think, like, have you ever heard the idea of like deposit and withdrawal when it comes to a value thing with your customers?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. So every time you ask for a sale, or you ask for something, you are basically withdrawing something from the customers. I think some of our mistakes in the past have been, especially on YouTube, trying to withdraw too much. And so now you'll hardly see any promotional videos from us on YouTube. But if we do put one on there, it's got to be very kind of slightly value-based. But if we're going to put like a direct ask on there, it's got to be a really strong offer. Mm-hmm. And so in the past, we put up some offers that were probably not that good. And then that really kind of, the community on YouTube feels alienated if you do that. If you put up this thing just asking for a sale when you haven't really provided a lot of value, that's a quick way to lose their attention. I know one customer or one prospect once said to me, "You have our attention, now don't lose it." Right? And he was saying, "Hey man, I love you guys. I love what you're doing. But if this behavior keeps up, we just will stop paying attention."
Yes. Yeah.
And so that, sorry, go on.
What is, so if you're limiting that sort of behavior on YouTube, what are some things that you do to try to drive the traffic to the website and to the paid subscription? Is it links in the description? What kinds of things do you do there? Yeah.
Links in the description used to work better when the little more info box was on the right-hand side of the video. I don't know if you remember that, but when they switched, all of our traffic from YouTube just really tanked. And so now it's really a big part of YouTube is branding and creating shareable content that spreads. I want to make our lessons so compelling that people are like, what, this Drumeo lesson here, I just saw this and I learned this cool thing and I got this awesome result. And then I saw this lesson from this artist and saw another cool result. And wow, Drumeo is awesome. I'm going to search more about them. And so that's like one of the big things. Another big thing is just people sharing the content with their friends. So someone sees a lesson, it's so good, they have to share it. You know, everyone has had those feelings before. And I think content creators don't think enough about that. They try and create content that's clickbaity and stuff like that. It's like, why don't you just create really valuable content that people love to share, right? And then another thing is like within the videos, just having light hints at stuff. So if we're talking within a lesson, we say, hey, if you have this play along or this song is from Drumeo, you can get it for free. There's a trial in the link below. And just a lot of kind of gentle reminders where it's not, we're not asking them to buy or pull out their credit card right then. We're just basically saying you can go get something else for free. And once they're on the email list, then we'll send them offers and do other things like that.
Awesome. Makes sense. So I feel like you probably have a lot of advice that you could give people that are maybe newer to YouTube, even though YouTube's, 10 years old at this point. There's still people, I mean, it's still totally, an opportunity to get into YouTube and to get traction there, I think. What kind of advice would you offer to somebody that's maybe, in the beginning stages of their YouTube channel, doing maybe maybe not in drumming or music, but instructional oriented videos to try to get out there and to try to get their videos seen? Are there tricks or things you can do in YouTube? You mentioned titling, do things like a richer description or the video quality, or what are some of those just YouTube things that people can check out?
Titling, I think, is really important. You see a lot of people jam their titles with the maximum amount of characters. It's like, oh, how are they supposed to rank that? And so I always say, like, the title of the video is what sells the viewer on to click, to even give that video a chance. It's based on the title and, let's say, the thumbnail, right? Those two things. And so you need to really make sure that whatever you put in your title and whatever you put in your thumbnail represents the video well. Don't put something in there that doesn't represent the video well, right?
So, for example, I can just to give an example from Drumeo. I'm just scanning through your recent videos. One example is quick tips for learning songs on the drums -Drumeo.
Yeah.
And what I like about this, and I want to just draw, something for the listeners, is that in this day and age of Upworthy and BuzzFeed and all this clickbait stuff you talked about, that's being very nice to the user because you're just telling them exactly what they're going to get, right? You're not over-promising. You're not using clickbait. So, and it seems like a lot of your titles follow that sort of model. And you'd say that works kind of in 2016 YouTube?
Yeah. Like, you want to respect the viewer's time. So if I say 5 ways to guaranteed learn a song in under 3 minutes or less,
you won't believe number 4.
Yeah. And then they go to the video and it's like 5 minutes. And they're like, what? Okay, hold on. He said in 3 minutes or less, I'm going to learn this. Boom, that's an automatic dislike. And they're going to feel like their time wasn't respected.
Right.
And so we're just creating a title like quick. It is quick because it's 5 minutes and 25 seconds for a lesson on learning songs, which we've done over hour-long lessons on that. And it's quick tips for learning songs on the drums. So I think it's a very descriptive title. It's good for people searching learning songs or how to learn songs. It's good in that it's kind of like a headline, right? I think it sells people on the click if they're going in related videos. That's where a lot of our traffic comes from, is related videos. And if there's something compelling in the title there, then you'll sell people on that click.
Awesome. Do you have any tips you have some really nice image overlays. I'm not sure what you call them in YouTube, but like the preview image. These are all custom because you've got nice text and fonts. Do you have any tips for those to make because that's what's going to make people click as well. So any tips for a compelling image?
Well, obviously don't fill up the whole thing with text. I know one thing on Facebook is if more than 25% of your background image is covered in text, they won't allow you to boost the post and stuff like that. And so we try and if you look at all of our stuff, we try and keep the text overlay less than 25%, although we don't hit the mark every single time. And we try and do things like put the artist names in bold and make sure that those are really standing out. But there's not really any strategy other than like making them look really, really nice. I don't actually do that. And so I don't have much tips on that.
And I think it speaks to the fact that when the content is good, you don't need to do a lot of extra tricks. You just put the title and you put the image and the person's name, and it is what it is. So let's talk a little bit about the content and maybe about how to keep the retention of the user. So have you worked with that in terms of, do you look at analytics in YouTube for where people trail off in the videos and trying to do things to keep and hold their attention?
Absolutely. That's a huge part of producing content. So our average viewership on all of our videos in the lifetime of our channel is 5 minutes and 25 seconds.
Wow, it's awesome. You know that.
Yes, that's very high. And so we've worked hard on trying to keep people interested and giving people a reason to watch and stay watching. So, excuse me. One thing we do is at the beginning of all of our lessons is if it's a shorter lesson, we play the result of what they're going to learn for the first 15 to 20 seconds. So if we're going to teach them this cool new rock beat, we'll play the final version of that rock beat right off the top. And so they can decide in the first 15 to 20 seconds if they can even do this, if this is achievable for them, if they want to watch, if they want to invest more time. If they get past that, they're pretty much into the lesson then, right? They've decided that they want to learn it. And so then we go in to teach the lesson, and we try and make that as concise as possible. We don't want to drag things out unnecessarily, although a lot of our lessons are over an hour long.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's for the shorter lessons. For the hour-long lessons, we do a lot of different things. We always start with the artist playing a piece of music or a solo. We try and do that. We actually broke it up one time, and some guy read a poem that he had wrote, and it did really, really well. It's really? Mark Kelso lesson. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it starts interesting because the whole song ends, and then he just starts saying this poem that he wrote the night before, and then he goes into playing a song.
Oh, wow.
But so we always start with a song. Then we do an intro where we introduce a competition or something, or some sort of contest. And that kind of keeps people watching live there. It also keeps people watching on YouTube, because in that contest, we say we'll give people like the pair of sticks that the artist is playing, or the drum heads that the artist is playing. All they have to do is leave a comment below about what their favorite part of the lesson was. And so then a lot of people will watch the whole lesson, then they'll post their favorite part of the lesson. We'll get 500 to 1,000 comments on that.
So
and
wait, say that again. So I'm glad you said that, because I wanted to mention to listeners how many comments you get on a video. Say that number again.
Yeah. Well, some comments, like some lessons. So if you go to, I think it was Annika Nila's lesson, we did this contest where users, when it goes on YouTube, they have to post what they like best about the lesson in the comments below, and then they'd be entered to win a splash cymbal, which is like a little crash cymbal for drummers. And I think we got 500 to 1,000 comments, if not even more than that.
Wow.
And that's what we do with all of our special guests, because the companies like it, because the companies supply a lot of the gear, right? And they want to promote their gear. And so if we can highlight it by offering it for free in a contest, as well as get more comments, which obviously is going to boost the rankings on our video, because Google and YouTube is going to see that is doing well. It actually has 3,500 comments. So
wow,
more than I thought.
So and I want to highlight as well, that video, if it's the same one I'm looking at from 6 months ago, has almost 900,000 views.
Yes.
And some of your videos, I've seen a few at least that topped 1 million views, which is phenomenal. Yeah. So I like giving the listeners numbers, so then they can say, oh, wow, like this Drumeo channel on YouTube, like they actually, are hitting these numbers, which is awesome.
Yeah, we're almost hit. I'm looking now, we're at 97 million views
total
on our channel. Yeah, total.
Wow. Phenomenal. That's great. So I love this retention thing. What I want to do just for a second is draw a connection for the listeners, because not everyone's running a drum instruction channel. Probably no one else listening is running a drum instruction channel. But I want you to take what Jared said, I'm speaking to the listeners, and think of how you can apply this to your side of your situation. So what Drumeo is doing is they're bringing in very well-known experts in the industry. They're offering incentives for them to be on their channel to teach and share with the community. But then they're offering a contest of something of value. It's not expensive. Now, there's a distinction. It's not an expensive value. It's sort of an emotional or inherent value, like a drum head or a cymbal. Because if somebody could say, oh, I've got the sticks. If I had Tony Royster's drumsticks, I'd be out of my mind, just happy with that. So that content, I mean, it doesn't really cost you anything probably, but like you said, it's great for the equipment providers too. So think about what you can offer. Like, are you an e-commerce store that might bring in let's say you sell an athletic product and you bring in an athlete that might wear your sneakers. Can you give those sneakers away to your audience and hold a contest like Jared does to get the engagement going, to get the community going, because they're going to want to win that prize of that contest? And I think there's a lot of ways that this concept can be applied to your industry. And I don't usually go on a big spiel like that with a guest on, but I want to draw that connection for the listeners in case they're sitting there trying to think of how can I do this in my situation?
Yeah. And I think that's great. And one thing about the contest is make it as frictionless as possible for people to sign up. So if they're watching the video on YouTube, they're already there. and all you say is leave a comment and tell me your favorite thing, it's like, that's simple for people to do. If you say, go to this website link, answer this survey, enter your email, you'll get way less people doing it. And so don't get greedy with it. You know, take the YouTube comment and use that as kind of momentum for the next video and the next video after that.
Totally. And it's frictionless for you too, right? Because you don't have to go set up some crazy email system. You can just write in the thing, leave a comment, and it's simple. Yeah. So it's easier for you too. So that's awesome. Any more kind of tips for retention or things that you've seen work throughout the years in regards to that, to holding people's, you know, like that 5 minute or whatever it was, 5 minute and something retention, average retention is awesome. So love to hear if you have another tip. Well,
yeah, if you go into your analytics on YouTube, there's a whole section in it called audience retention. And go look at your most popular videos. Where are people dropping off and where are people landing? I think that's some of the best data you can have, because like you said, not many people are probably running a drum instruction site, and it's not always apples to apples, right? We have pianolessons.com and we have that too. And it's easy to say, oh, it worked. Something worked over here. Let's just do it in drums. It's never that way. It's a different market. You have to speak in a different tone, and different tactics will work in certain markets, right? And so go look at your audience retention for your most popular videos. Find out where users are dropping off. Then look at the video, and then you'll figure out why. And then say, okay, at 1 minute in all these types of videos from this series, I need to do something to keep people there, and then make a decision and change for future videos.
Yes, that's a really good tip. So also something can you still do this? You can sometimes see the analytics of other YouTube videos on other channels if they've made it public.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you can still do that. I think you can.
So one thing that you can do as a user, if you see a video you really like, but it's on someone else's channel, if you kind of dig around near the subscription, you might be able to see the analytics. A little quick tip there for you. Yeah. But Sorry. I heard it. I heard you playing one of your videos. I heard a noise.
Sorry, I can't believe that's going through. I was just checking to see if you could do that, and it looks like you can. You can look at statistics on other videos.
Oh, that's great. So get some intelligence there. So this YouTube's... Go ahead.
No, go on. I accidentally shut off my volume, so I couldn't hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this YouTube stuff is great. I want to shift the conversation towards the last 10, 15 minutes of the call today, towards maybe some other social channels. So we spend a lot of time talking about YouTube, but is there anything right now that's really working for you outside of YouTube?
Well, Facebook video is huge, and any marketer probably knows that by now. Facebook's giving a lot of weight to uploading native videos to their channel, or their, like, Facebook in general. We don't upload long form videos on there. Like, we have a lot of hour plus videos, just because the search experience it's different, right? Someone goes to Facebook to kind of browse content and get a feed of news and stuff about their friends. Whereas people go to YouTube to search for something like a song video that they want to watch, or a how-to video. And so the user's intent is very, very different on both sites. And so you have to take that into account when you're deciding on what to upload. So on Facebook, we upload a lot of like 1 to 5 minute videos, and we find those do well. We actually just clip out a lot of the content, because we create like 400 plus hours of video content every year. So we have a lot of content to choose from. And so we'll just take little clips from everything and put up the videos and figure out what works and what doesn't.
You said in your video that I watched today from Twitter that being on social is like trying to advertise at a party. Can you describe what you mean with that?
Well, think about your friend that signed up for a multi-level marketing thing, and every time he comes to a party, everyone's like, "Oh, here John comes again. He's going to try and sell me on his
insurance,
his insurance or whatever." And they're like, so everyone kind of gets a little bit nervous about that, and they don't really want to talk to him or anything like that. And sometimes I feel like when I see people marketing on social, that's what they're doing. They're just like screaming and shouting about their product or service at a party, and everyone's just trying to talk and hang out. And what I always say is, if you're at a party, just get to know people. Go and talk to this person, ask them questions, and really kind of invest in that community and try and build value for people before you just ask ask, which is what happens all the time. In our market, especially because I think from a marketing standpoint, the drum market is a little bit behind other communities which are possibly bigger. So you look at like the SEO market or the internet marketing market. Obviously, that's more advanced in how they're marketing. And so it's different. So a lot of people might not have those issues, but I would just like really focus on listening on Facebook and listening on Twitter and listening on Instagram and figuring out how you can add value there without asking.
So I like that approach. What are some things that you do to listen? Do you just subscribe to other people's feeds? What are you reading in the comments on your own channel? What are you doing there?
Yeah, like so I follow a lot of other pages, leave comments on their things that they're promoting or things that they want to talk about. When I post something, like I'll do little drum tips for people, and I'm not asking for anything. It's just like a little text drum tip, and then I'll go into the comments and reply to as many of them as I possibly can. 95% of what I share on social is value-based, so it's asking for nothing. The occasional time I do promote something, it's usually it's through a post, but then it's a boosted post, and then we do some direct advertising as well. Mm-hmm. But it's not in the regular stream of our value-based content. And so, yeah, it's just providing value. And I think once you've provided enough value to people, they'll feel obligated to reciprocate. Like, not that that's why we do it, but it's like if I come over and help you move 10 times and you see I'm moving one day, you're gonna be like, oh, Jared's moving and he helped me 10 times earlier. I should go help him. Or you're going to feel that way, right?
Yeah, totally. The law of reciprocity.
Yes,
I said it correctly. So, what are your feelings on engaging and interacting as a brand in social as Drumeo versus you as an individual or even the other people at Drumeo? Are there pros and cons to each that you've seen?
People prefer when it's an actual person and they know who they're talking to. And so right now, like I have a great social media manager named Justin, and he responds to a lot of the comments through all of the Drumeo channels, and he does a good job of that. And I think it all comes down to like what voice or what tone are you responding in? Are you like speaking the language that's native to the platform? So are you all acting all professional and corporate, giving canned responses, or are you really humanizing your posts and your responses? And so I like the way Justin does it because he uses emoticons and he talks like he would talk if it was Justin or if it was me or if it was anyone else. And so that's good. We do the best we can there. But in general, I think people like when they know who they're talking to. Like if they know they're talking to me or any of the other artists here, that's preferred over talking to a brand.
I think I see this all the time, and you probably see it too, where a brand will respond, but you can tell they totally missed the point of what the person was saying, or they're not getting why the person was engaging with that brand. So this guy you have, Justin is his name, right? He's did he just kind of jump right in and is really good at social? Did you have to train him a little first? How did you get that set up and running?
Yeah, Justin used to work in customer service here. And so he had kind of a deep understanding of our customer base because he responded to so many of their messages. He's also a drummer. So he understands the lingo, like how to speak to drummers. You talk about a snare drum or hi-hats or drop clutch or wing nut or all these terms that, the viewers or the listeners aren't going to really know about because they're not drummers, but a drummer should know that kind of stuff. And so if you look at any brand, like of Coke, whoever is doing it for Coke should have some knowledge of soft drinks and all the different soft drinks and the different can styles and all these different, they should have roots in the marketplace. And I think that's really important because I don't think someone has to be good at Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. That can all be learned, the technical side of how to post and how to use those platforms. But can the person speak in the voice of the market and the tone of the market? I think that's way more important.
Yeah, absolutely agree. So how many people are at Drumeo? I guess full-time, is it?
Yeah, there's around 20 full-time employees.
Oh, wow. Bigger than I thought.
Yeah. And then we have around 60 to 80 contract instructors. So they come on to do lessons some of them are once a week, some of them are twice a week, and some of them are once every couple months.
Oh, wow. That's great. It's definitely bigger than I had imagined. Thinking that's awesome. So I want to ask a question about some of these video testimonials that you have on the Drumeo site. Can you explain, like, what was the decision behind having a video testimonial versus just a text-based testimonial? Is there a value add to that?
I think the video ones just give people a better understanding of who it is that's giving the testimonial. And when you have testimonials that really represent your market well, I think it helps people relate to them better. Because the testimonials are there to answer objections of the people trying to decide whether or not to sign up for your product or service, right? Mm-hmm. And so we do things called Drumeo VIP weeks. We actually have one going on right now in our clinic room. So 10 drummers come from around the world and they study with us for a week. And we have all the drum sets set up. And then one of the days for a couple hours, I bring them upstairs and I interview them about their drumming story. And they tell us what they love about Drumeo, and sometimes they tell us what they don't like. And we have just a conversation, and then we film that and we put that on our website. And so we also do a lot of text. Like if you go on our checkout form, we'll have little text blurbs for testimonials. And so we kind of use them everywhere. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they're all like our actual students. None of them are actors or anything like that. They're all drummers who are learning through Drumeo.
Awesome. So for anyone else interested in kind of running like a similar training or teaching service, how do you go about finding the recruiting the teachers and keeping them kind of invested and involved in Drumeo and preventing them from moving? Not that you want to hold them hostage, but what are some things you do to kind of keep them excited about staying with you once you find them?
With the teachers, they gotta be excited about coming and working with you. And so it has to be create an environment where they love to come and hang out. You know, we've done some cool things here where coming to the studio, it's like a little drummer's playground. So there's lots of gear. I have like 30 snare drums and 100 cymbals all scattered around and 20 drum sets. And so
I think I want to visit you guys.
Yeah, you should. Coming here, it's fun. It's like an experience, right? Just like you create online with learning, you try and create a learning experience, not just like a learning center or something boring. You want them to have some sort of, you want them to feel some sort of emotional change when they come to your place. And then even with the lesson, it's kind of easy for us because a lot of our teachers who come out, they get a lot of recognition from it. We have so many great teachers. And so for them to come out and be publicly recognized for their incredible hard work and their incredible drumming, it's a real easy thing when it comes to like a value exchange. Like they love coming out, and we pay them their fee and we give them regular work, which for drummers, you know, we're not all like super rich, right?
I've been there.
Yeah, exactly. You know how it is. And it's a grind to do that, to be a musician full time. And so, yeah, I think it just comes down to that, creating a really good experience and making sure they're compensated fairly.
Awesome. Is there anything that you do offline to drive business online? So you go into events or doing live shows or anything like that, other than having your physical place? There's a Victoria Drum Fest that I sponsor every year, and I'm considering doing like a Vancouver Drum Festival. Mm-hmm. We'll call it the Drumeo Festival. Yep. I'm considering doing something like that. And then a lot of people will have their own drum camps and events, and we'll send a lot of T-shirts and subscription cards and stuff like that. But none of it's really tracked. Like I don't know if it works. I just know like it's something we need to do if we want to have roots in this community. Yeah, I mean, there's a serendipitous trust that kind of goes along with that. That, like you said, you can't track it, but you know that there's something there probably. So I want to ask one last question and shift gears entirely towards the just entrepreneurship in general. You mentioned in a podcast that you've always been entrepreneurial, but not a good worker, and worker in quotes. How do you balance being a musician and also a business person and kind of balance those temperaments and stay successful?
Yeah, well, I think I have a blend of being really creative where I can go into the studio and I can record original music and create what I think are cool drum parts and stuff like that. But then I also have another side, which is very business. And, you know, if I have to let someone go I have to let someone go when I do it, and I do things that are uncomfortable, and I'm a little bit aggressive on the business side sometimes. And so I think I have a good balance, but I found out what works for me. Like I follow a guy named Gary Vaynerchuk, and a big thing with him is you focus on your strengths. And so that's what I do is I look at unique ability. Like, what is my unique ability? What do people actually appreciate me the most for? And then I just try and do as much of that as possible. And then I'll hire out everything else.
Right.
So that's kind of my motto.
It's funny you said that, because now I just remembered I saw a Drumeo comment on a Gary Vaynerchuk video with like 25 thumbs up. And then was that you or was that?
Yes, I did that. I'm just surprised you actually saw it. That's cool.
I did. Because I've got to come up with a name for this show, like the Gary V effect or something, because literally probably 3/4 of my guests have mentioned his name, because he's just such a monster in the marketing field now that it's almost impossible to not notice him. And I could definitely tell by some of your philosophies, just that we kind of, both shared those philosophies, which he shares as well. So that's really cool. So what did you mean by that? You're not a good worker? Does that mean that you're not good at working for somebody else, or do you have trouble like maintaining a consistent work schedule, or what did you mean by that?
I don't think I like routine. Like a lot of workers, they'll get up and they'll go do their same thing every day. And I'm what I call like a quick start. And so I like to start projects and then pass it on to the team and then move on to the next thing and then do that same thing. And so when it comes to a traditional job, like construction, or I used to work in a processing plant doing line work, I think I'm good at that, but mentally it just frustrates me, because like I like to take a different route to work every day because I get sick of going the same way. Yeah. So I very much like change. Like even when something changes for the worse, like if something happens in the business, it's like, oh, wow, that's terrible for our business, but I'm excited to figure out a way to fix this, because I love the problem and I love trying to fix that problem.
That's so funny. I mean, a lot of that stuff resonates with me as well. I tend to take different routes to work and have a hard time, doing the same thing over and over. In fact, I've been thinking about kind of still doing this podcast, but like passing certain parts of it off to other people as I'm, developing systems around them. So I totally can relate to that. Just that wanting to go to the next new thing and get that started. So can definitely relate to that. So Jared, this has been a really fun interview. And I hope a fun and informative listen for the audience as well. I know that, like I said at the beginning, getting to talk to another drummer, running a business having to do with music is a real treat for me. And you really knew way more things about SEO and all this stuff than I was expecting. So that's been a treat as well. And it's been a lot of fun. So why don't you tell the listeners where they can find you online and where they can find Drumeo if there are any musicians that are interested in checking it out?
Yeah. So if you want to check out Drumeo, it's just go to drumeo.com. If you want to see how we rank online and stuff, just go search drum lessons on YouTube or Google and you'll likely find us.
Oh, a little challenge there. Yeah.
And if you want to chat with me about anything non-drum related, you can just email me, jared@drumeo.com.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really kind of you to give your email address out. So, with that, we're going to wrap up today's episode of Experts on the Wire. Thank you, Jared, for joining us, and we'll see everyone next time. Hey, everyone. So I hope you enjoyed that discussion with Jared Falk of Drumeo. And as he said, if you have any questions or want to know anything more about Drumeo, you can visit the links he provided, and we'll of course put all this in the show notes in case you're driving in the car or walking the dog right now. So I just want to remind people that if you would like to connect with the guests on a little bit more of a personal level, you can go to evolvingseo.com/wire, where you can sign up for the email list I have set up. And I'm very new at email and email marketing, so I have no idea if this is going to work or how good I'm doing at this, but I'm just trying it out essentially to see how it goes. So if you sign up for that, I will give you advance notice of who some of the guests will be on Experts on the Wire. You will have a chance to then submit a question that you would like me to ask that guest. So the first time you're going to hear this happen on a show is going to be the episode coming up with Rand Fishkin from Moz. I did get a question from somebody on the email list, and I think it provided some really good information for the show, and I hope helps out the person that asked the question through the email list. So go to evolvingseo.com/wire where you can sign up for that. And who knows, after trying this for a few months, maybe I'll realize that there's better ways to use email, but essentially just trying to do a little experimenting there, kind of practice what I preach really as a marketer and tell people to try new things and experiment. So we'll see how that goes. But thanks everyone for tuning into episode 23 of Experts on the Wire, and I will see you next time. Thanks.
Yeah, good.
Hey everyone, by the way, your name is pronounced Falk or Folk?
Falk.
Falk. That's dangerously close to making me need to, right? Yeah.
You can say Jared Falk, that's fine. Introducing Jared Falk.
So say it one more time.
Jared Falk. Falk. Think of like a falcon.
Like a falcon,
Falk.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Falk.
I'm actually going to just... I know I'm going to mess that up, so...
Oh, it'd be funny if you do. So.
Yeah. Falk. Okay, got it.
I call my kids the little Falkers, so...
That is funny. All right.